2 mistakes that will kill your size and strength gains as a beginner lifter. On Max with Max Performance, you're going to want to avoid these mistakes. I'm going to tell you what the mistakes are and how you can avoid them and a possible workaround or solution to these mistakes, because they're pretty simple, but they're common and it'll happen to you. These are things that never really happened to me, but I saw it be the downfall of many of my young lifting partners. Rest in peace. Please like, comment, subscribe. We'll get into the video. So that first mistake is inconsistent training. And by that, what I mean is you train for like 5 days straight. You're in the mix. And everyone does this with a ton of different things in life. I do it with all sorts of things. Like diet is my crux. But you're good for 5 days, and then the next week you don't train at all. And then you train for 3 days the week after in week 3. Then in week 4 you train for a couple days. Week 5 you're back to like 4 days, and then you just start the whole cycle over again. So the inconsistent training, well, I'll back up and say this. Consistent training, especially as a natural lifter, is the driver and keeper of your gains. Well, once you start training and you're consistent and you start building a foundation, the only way to keep that foundation and to continue building that foundation is through consistent training and consistent work, consistent effort, consistent energy, and consistently thinking about and acting those actions out in the gym. It is the only way to keep gains. I've been training for about 10 plus years now with varying amounts of time and energy dedicated to it. Periods where it was 5 or 6 days in the week, that was like my second job, that's all I cared about, to periods where I'd train 3 days a week and I'd do what I could do. So what I'm getting at is I was still consistent throughout that time. I've never spent any period of time not training. I mean, I've gone on week vacations here and there where I go to the hotel gym and I'm half drunk, the whole vacation, but I'm still trying my best to do something. So, I mean, I've never taken like 2 weeks off at the gym for the last 10 plus years. And I've kept some pretty good size and strength gains because of that. But basically, if you want to build a respectable physique and respectable strength as a natural lifter, you're going to have to put in the time in the gym. And a big part of that is figuring out how you like to train, which takes time. I mean, I'm still figuring out what works best for me. That's part of the journey. That's part of the process. That's part of the fun. That's the part of that I really like, is as you do it more, there's always something to unlock and to figure out. But consistency is king. So what's the solution to inconsistent training? Well, one, there's got to be a good amount of discipline there, and there's ways to help your discipline. Pre-workout. Pre-workout can be an awesome tool. People like to talk all sorts of this or that about pre-workout. And by pre-workout, I mean like basically some kind of caffeine before the gym. Pre-workout can be an amazing tool, though, to get you in the gym, to get you started, because usually once you're in the gym and you've started, it's like clockwork. You just start going. It's getting there that's the difficult part. It's like a lot of things in life. You're thinking about going to work. You don't want to go to work. I get in my truck and I start driving to work. I'm on my way to work. All right, I'm back in my routine. It's just thinking about it. Trying to get there can be really challenging. So just getting yourself to the gym to train is huge, and pre-workout can really help with that. Also, just having a plan for the days of the week that you're training. So if you're not sure what days of the week you're training, well, good luck getting in the gym, because in the back of your head, you know that you haven't dedicated any time or space to this, so you don't have to do it. So like me, I plan out my training the week in advance every week, and it changes because I have a family and a kid. Like I used to know exactly when I was going to the gym. I'd go to the gym the same day every day at the same time. Now I can't do that as much. Things change. But my point is, you should plan out your week of training the week in advance. That's what good looks like, and even farther out if you can. The farther out, the better. The next thing is, not only should you know when you're going to train, but you should know what you're going to do when you're in the gym training. By taking away these variables and these unknowns, it kind of creates a plan. And at that point, it takes, all it is you going and doing it. It takes all the excuses out of it. At that point, it's really just you buckling down and saying, okay, I'm going to do it. Not to mention, like, your training sessions don't have to be 2 hours long. Get in there 30 minutes, 45 minutes, bang it out. If you're not feeling great, like, do what you can do. But try to get in the gym at least 3 days a week, especially to start. 3 days a week for 45 minutes to start Doesn't seem like a lot, but you do that for a year or two, you'll put on some good size and strength. Just the consistency alone, you'll be shocked. It doesn't take much, but you do have to do it consistently, and you do have to put good amount of effort into what you're doing, and you have to bust your ass a little bit. So that's the first mistake, inconsistent training. We just talked about how you can kind of curb that. Again, consistency is key. I mean, I will say consistency is possibly the most important part of all of this. The second mistake that I see often, and this one, not as big of a deal. Where is this? That not as big of a deal. This one though is it's one where this can set your training up for failure from the start, and that's not training your legs. That's the second mistake, is not training your legs. And a lot of people will, again, not plan their leg day training, or worse, they'll plan it and they'll go hit their arms, or they'll go bench press, you know, and it's just like that's like saying, I'm not going to drink, and then you get to the party and you're like, I'm tying one off. We've all been there, but that's not good practice. So yeah, people skipping leg day training, and a lot of people will think, I don't really care. Like I can deal with asymmetric physique. It's not that important to me. But what people are missing out on is by squatting, especially, and I say training legs, you should be doing some kind of squatting if you're training legs. That's one where, I mean, some people might fight me on that. I'm just going to go down swinging and say you should be squatting, doing some kind of free weight squat. If you literally cannot do it because your body is broken, then understandable. But in your training, you should be doing some kind of weighted squat. I don't care if it's a goblet squat or what. Anyways, by doing some kind of weighted squat, you're training your upper body. That's what people don't really realize. Like if you have 400 pounds on your back, if you've ever felt 400 pounds on your back, you're holding the weight on your back. Like you're doing shoulder press. You're keeping the weight steady. So not only will squatting requires a ton of upper body strength, and it's going to bring up this musculature as the weight on the bar goes up, out of necessity, out of adaptation. So squatting will make your upper body big, is I guess the point I'm trying to make. And that's something that people just don't understand, which it boggles my mind. So went off on kind of a tangent. But basically, to avoid skipping leg day or not hitting legs or not squatting, include squatting in your program, and don't make it so unbearable that you just can't stand to do it. Make it easy, especially to start. Start doing goblet squat. I'm telling you, squat like a couple days a week. Use a 20-pound goblet squat. Do 3 sets of 10 with 20-pound goblet squat. That's hard. You're going to be sore, but it's not going to be so hard that you can't do it. You could bang out 3 sets of 20 pounds on goblet squat in 5 to 10 minutes. That's what I'm saying. Like, something's better than nothing. I'm telling you, as you get farther into it and you squat more and more and more, it's going to grow on you a little bit, hopefully, at least to some extent. I think it does to everyone. Some people a little bit more, some people less. But if you continually and routinely squat, you're going to find that you do at some point enjoy squatting. And then from there, maybe you're doing goblet squat. Then maybe you can start doing a front squat or put a bar on your back or do whatever you got to do. But you got to squat. It's going to make your physique more symmetric. Not to mention, it's just going to make you overall stronger. Having strong legs is like, what are you better off having, like in like a survival instance or something, like strong legs or strong upper body? I would argue having strong legs is probably better because you can move better, more agile, faster, more explosive. So having strong legs is it's a more athletic kind of look. It's a little bit more athletic kind of skills you'll have, I guess to say. And not to mention, it's just going to make you stronger. By training your lower body will make your upper body stronger, period. And I know it's a pain in the ass, but do it. Train your lower body. The 2 mistakes were inconsistent training and not training your lower body. We covered how you can kind of avoid that and the solutions. Do those things. Make sure you don't do that, especially the inconsistent training. It's just, you're not going to get anywhere if you're not consistent. And just don't bite off too much. Like, bite off reasonable amounts. Create a habit, create a routine, get yourself locked in, and then from there start adding more and more and more. Don't try to go too big too fast, because you're going to fail. It happens to everyone. It's happened to me on a million different things. I'm Max with Max Performance. Look at the flags. I'll see you in the next one.